At 15, Gina was certain she owned the world and that catastrophe would never darken her door. Brazenly, she entered the waterfall and began nimbly walking across the slippery rocks. Whoosh! Her feet went out from under her, and her head hit the rocks with a sickening thud. 12 tense hours later, she was finally out of surgery and on the road to recovery. It took a year before she could return to school, but Gina never gave up. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, she ascended and made her life quest the study of health and wellness, constantly researching and receiving treatment from elite practitioners. However, Gina was saddened by her body's continued decline, the loss of mobility, and the jawbone disease that had spread and was disrupting every system in her body. Yet still she fought until the tragic loss of her boyfriend sent her life and her health spiraling out of control. With no hope left, Gina prayed for a miracle. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. And if you're ready to be inspired and discover the miracle that brought Gina back from the edge, stay with me, because when we come back, we're going to learn Gina's secret for continued well-being.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. In truth, nothing can dim your magnificence. You are a divine spark, a universal light. You are here on purpose. You are part of a divine plan, and it's our joy to support you. We're here to celebrate you. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com. Put the power of the spiritual realm to work in your life with Marcia Martin on Angel Heart Radio starts now.
Now, before we hear about Gina's miraculous journey, I want to tell you a little bit more about who Gina is. She was raised in Tucson, Arizona, and that was where she began cultivating her conscious, healthy living and really sparking her spiritual practice. And now today, Gina has a unique and multifaceted approach to personal and spiritual development, emotional empowerment, and conscious life coaching. Gina has been guiding, advising, mentoring, coaching, consulting, and a creative spark for 4 decades. She's highly intuitive and spiritual in her approach for attaining wellness, wholeness, and oneness. She integrates a practical, balanced, and grounded perspective in her life coaching. Her extensive knowledge, experience, wisdom, and intuitive insights give her a profound ability to understand human potential as well as motivation. Gina instinctively knows how to build bridges of understanding to support each individual to recognize and embrace their full potential. She empowers a willingness to learn and to practice living in gratitude and living a healthy, joyful, inspired, spiritual, and purposeful life. Now, I want to introduce all of you to this amazing person and hear the journey that she has had to undergo in order to return to a state of well-being. As we have discussed so many times in the past, it is really difficult to exude positive energy and stay in an uplifted state when you're not feeling your best. So I want to introduce you all to Gina Rhoda and hear her story of what transpired in her life to bring her to this place. So Gina, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Marcia. What a beautiful acknowledgement. Happy holidays to you and all your listeners. And I'm so grateful to be able to be part of a journey that can help and support people and to serve them with their health and well-being.
So help us understand what your journey was like. What were some of your high points and your low points? When did it begin? How did you go from being 15 and basically written off for a year to attaining such an incredible level of advancement in health and wellness?
Well, it's a deep journey. It's my greatest passion and purpose, and I believe everything happened for me to have a very enriching and enlightening journey around health and wellness, and to be able to serve and support and empower people to empower themselves around their health, because our true wealth is our health, and without our health, what do we really have? And even though at 15 I had this accident, knocked out my teeth, I've had 20 dental surgeries, very injured in many ways, and almost passed away several times. I always sourced and searched for what would help me survive and thrive. It's my passion to source the highest and the best services, technologies, products. So that's my life's journey, and that's my passion, greatest passion and purpose.
So you're not kidding. I mean, it's one thing to say, gosh, yes, I've been dealing with this chronic illness for a while, but you almost passed away many times.
Yeah.
How do you come back, not just to living, but to actually thriving and then being able to share what you've gained with other people?
Well, that's a really beautiful question, Marcia. Thank you. I have a lot of faith, and I consider myself a faith walker, and I am here really by the grace of God and the universe and angels. And I just had so much to overcome, and I wanted to be victorious against all odds. I claimed, I intended. And so out of that intention and out of that faith, everything I've ever needed has come to me in a very miraculous way. So I always say I'm receiving my miracles and my blessings, even if I don't know I am, even if I can't see it, I'm just holding that faith. And it's something to practice, and it's something to learn, because I'm alive and well, truly, because I believe in miracles, and I believe in giving blessings and receiving blessings and walking in faith.
So I want you, if you can, to help us, because I think one of the things that I hear from the listeners most often is being in that place where you just can't find the energy to try one more time. How did you manage to stay in that place of miracles are possible and they're here for me now, even though you may have been really hurting badly, or, as you mentioned, not even able to walk? How did you possibly find the will to, or the confidence to continue with what appeared to not be working?
Well, it seemed as if I was in my last chapter when I became immobile, and my boyfriend passed in a tragic hit and run, and I broke my foot and seriously injured my knee, my hip, my SI joint, and my groin. And we all know that accidents can often mean emotional issues, and I didn't know how to move forward without him. But it was compounded because it was my whole right side, and it's also where I have continuing serious dental issues. So I laid in bed. I repaired my foot with lasers. I wasn't able to repair my knee or my hip or my joint, but I just would pray and say, thank you for healing me, taking on the intention that I would be healed, even if I don't know how, even if it was beyond my belief system, because it looked pretty bleak, to be honest. It looked pretty bleak. And I prayed and just said, okay, show me what I need. And so I went to go see a high-level chiropractor, and I went and had 30, 40, acupuncture sessions. I went to the best naturopath, one of the top 10 in the world. So I reached out to everybody I knew or that I could access for support, but it just wasn't enough. Like I would get a result for a day, maybe a day. But I noticed that in the last year and a half, it started to get worse, and then it was affecting my sleep. So then, I'm heavy set as a result of all these accidents and surgeries, and struggling at night and not sleeping and being in a lot of pain and feeling hopeless. And I can tell you that I've only felt hopeless a few times, but this was something else. This was something I hadn't experienced. And when you start to lose your mobility and you start not to want to function or feeling depressed or sad and stop wanting to do anything, I stopped driving. I just didn't know anything else was possible beyond everything that I tried. And as I said, I expect a miracle every day, and it shows up. And I also expect to, and a blessing, and I expect to bless somebody in some way, even if it's one word, if it even it's like, hello, So I was really at the end of being able to know what I was doing next. I couldn't work. I started not to be able to work. And I definitely didn't even want to drive, because you drive with your right foot, and it was, it was painful. And I just meditated more, and I just prayed more. Quite honestly, I pray and meditate morning and night, and I just kept thanking God and angels in the universe for bringing me what I need. And out of the blue, so I have a very dear friend who's very gifted, intuitive, and, in the healing arts for 30 years. And he called me out of the blue and he said, Gina, I'd like to send somebody to you. You're not in good shape. I don't feel good about it, and I feel I need to help you. And to be honest, as open and willing as I am always, I felt resistance. And I was feeling hopeless, and that's just honest, just feeling hopeless and thinking I've done everything I can, and okay, if I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go, and if I'm ready to stay, then show me. Just show me what I need to do next. I actually said, what is the next wave in my life? So that could have been leaving, or it could be staying, right? So I didn't say specifically.
Absolutely.
And this woman showed up who was quite lovely and also very clairvoyant, and introduced me to a product that is beyond a miracle. So I live and love miracles, but this is beyond a miracle and a blessing. And she asked me if I would just try it. It's a patch. It's not transdermal, but it is a patch, and it activates our copper peptides and our own stem cells. But I didn't have a lot of the information. She just said, try this for a short time and get back with me if you have a result. So I'm like, I'll try anything. And at the same time, I was like, I've tried everything. And I put it on, and on the fourth night, in the middle of the night, I woke up out of my sleep, and usually I felt a lot of pain. I tossed and turned and put pillows and you name it. It's just a ridiculous way to be trying to sleep. And I noticed I didn't feel any pain, so I kind of was laughing a little bit and thought, oh, okay, I must be dreaming. And I didn't really take it on like it was anything. And I thought, okay, when I get up, I'll know what I'm dealing with here. I woke up, it was the fifth morning, and I had no pain. I had no pain, in my knees, in my hip, and my SI joint, and my groin. And I said, oh my God, this is a miracle. Oh my God, what is this? Still not quite relating it to the patches, because it would just seem so miraculous. Like, oh my God, 5 days? Everyone's different. Everybody's stem cells are different. The condition they're in, how many you have. It really taps and activates your body's own wisdom. It's not a product. There's nothing on it or in it. But what it does is it's organic crystal that activates our own infrared light. So we're light beings. We're a light body. And that activation activates the copper peptides and our own stem cells to start to regenerate and repair and renew. And I said, oh my God, regeneration, rejuvenation and renewal, that's my trinity on earth. So woke up so happy, no pain, felt more energy. Within a month, I basically was a new person. Totally got my vitality back, my mobility back. I'm rebounding every day. Only for 10 or 15 minutes. I've been walking. I've ridden a cycle, a stationary cycle, which I hadn't done in a decade. Without these injuries, I wasn't doing it. I just didn't have the energy to do it. I didn't have the vitality to do it, and I just didn't do it. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I know the miracles and the blessings that are possible for every individual if they will be willing to open their heart and their minds to receive their good and to receive a healing, to receive a blessing, to receive a miracle. And you put one patch on a day. It's on for 12 hours. You take it off, and you put a new one on in the next day, and you put it right below your belly button. It's called the dantian. It's a power center, but there's a lot of nerves. Or one on the back of your neck. And if you have serious injuries and serious pain, there's a way to mitigate all of that. So I know some people have felt it in 5 minutes. I know people have felt it in an hour, the same day. I did not. It was the 5th day. I know people that didn't feel anything for 25 days, 35 days, and even over 6 weeks. But every person that I have offered this blessing to has received a profound result. And I know it's possible. I know it's possible for all the listeners. I know it's possible for everybody now.
Oh, I love this. And I want to look at a couple of different aspects of what you're saying. But before we do, let me just tell everyone, if you want to call in to speak with Gina and ask her specific questions about whether this might work for you, please feel free to do so. That number is 347-202-0232. If you're calling from outside the U.S., you have to add a 1. So one more time, that number, 347-202-0232. So now, you said a couple of things that I think are so impactful just for daily living, let alone regaining your health and wellness. So one of the things that you said that really struck me was that you had determined, or you had decided in your life, that you wanted to be both a giver and a receiver of blessings. What does that look like in your life?
Wow, thank you for catching that, Marcia. How it looks in my life is I'm really about service to humanity, loving service, and I came to serve, and I believe we all have, but I'm aware of it, and Marcia, you're in loving service at all times, and we're just loving each other in service today. And what it looks like to me is that some way, every day, someone needs some help with their health. And I reach out, or they reach out to me, and I support them with whatever I think they need. It could be go to the doctor. It could be go to the acupuncturist. It could be. So when you bless someone, you also receive blessings. And because I stay in service, and I believe we all receive blessings, and some of them are in disguise, and some of them we don't really really take in as a blessing, right? So when you share a blessing and you give it and you share it in the energy and the intention that this is a miracle and a blessing for your life, in that true service and true intention, blessings come back. It's just automatic, natural consequence and response to being in service and being willing to be a blessing and to receive blessings. And I think without the giving and the receiving, we're cut off. We don't get to fully be who we are. We don't get to fully experience life fully and joyfully. And, even if you just send blessings to people from a distance, or, bless you over the phone, or whatever you want to do. Every email I send a blessing. Every phone call I send a blessing. Every check I write, I say, blessings. I put it on the check. So in response to that energy in the world, blessings come my way. And I'm happy to receive them, and I'm happier than ever in my life to receive this miracle and blessing. It's been the greatest miracle and blessing in my life for my health.
So I want to ask you one other question, because you use the word that you are in service quite a bit. What does that mean for you, and will it look the same for everyone?
You know, we're all the same inside, but we're all different in how we manifest it and project it and work with our life and our energies and our belief systems and our attitudes, right? Our own mentality and psychology. It's different for people. You know, somebody could think a blessing is, giving a homeless person $1, and it is a blessing, by the way. And someone else could think a blessing is saying to somebody, "Oh, you did a good job today. You know, you're a good soul." So when we acknowledge people, we're in service to them because we're honoring them at the highest state and in the most authentic way. And so it's going to be different for everyone. And, I would say, open your heart and be willing to look at what a blessing is that you could receive and that you could give and that you could share authentically and simply and with ease and grace because you desire to. And that's what service is you really authentically want to support and empower somebody in a way that really serves them, and you're not looking necessarily for any kind of a benefit or agenda. For me, service is not agenda-based. Everybody has agendas, nobody's without agendas, but when you're in service, you go, how can I support you? How can I share? What do you need? Yeah.
And so what do you feel? Because I think this is where we get a lot of confusion. People feel, well, if I don't have any money, how can I bless someone else?
Well, yes, I understand. I've heard a lot of people along the way, right, speak that. Blessings are not just money. Blessings are words. Blessings are actions. And if you bless somebody with a dime, it's not the amount. It's the intention that you are offering something to someone that may need something in that moment.
Yes, and on that note, I would like to say to all the listeners, it doesn't matter whether you are currently in the best health possible or whether you are not feeling well at all. Just the fact that you have this information, and we're going to go back now to this miracle product that really turned Gina's life around, but just the fact that you are in possession of this information means that you can be a blessing for someone else. If you share what you know with someone else, you can be their angel. You can be their blessing. So let us get in the habit, especially as we're closing out this 2019 year, which was really climbing the mountain of getting rid of the negative self-talk and the deliberate self-sabotage that we're engaging in when we tell ourselves, I'm just not good enough. Let's really jump off into the higher elevations as 2020 is here for us and just adopt the attitude. I am a beautiful being. I am divine. I do have something to offer. Let go of the pocketbook, the education, any other label or condition that you need to put on yourself to feel better, and just allow yourself to feel good about you. And one of the ways that it can happen for you is for you to feel physically more vital. So, Gina, tell us more about this miracle patch. What is it called? How can you receive it? How long should you expect until you get a result, or what kind of results can you expect from it? Or perhaps what would be better is, what conditions respond to it? Can it help with anything, or is it very specific?
Well, because it's so individual, depending on the individual stem cells, because it's only activating your own, it really depends on what your body needs most. But I've noticed for me and all the people that are receiving their blessings, these light patches, it's photon therapy. It's biomedicine, right? So is definitely pain. I have to say, Marcia, I've heard from 23 to 84 talk about some kind of injury or pain and how in, let's just say a month, but it's been up to 6 weeks so far that I know of, but that people have less pain, some have no pain. And, you know, they were saying to me, as I had also noticed, I didn't realize how much pain I had endured until I didn't have any. And I thought, how can people endure this kind of pain? And on that note, when we're in that kind of pain and we're in that kind of breakdown in the physical body, we can't be our optimum self. We can't feel as much love. We can't give as much love. We can't receive as much love. And so what I believe we're here for is, you know, love and light, right? And shine it bright and shine your ray into the day. But when you feel better, it's like feel your best, do your best, be your best. But with a lot of pain, people cannot connect with that. They can't access that. So I would say pain is the biggest thing I've noticed first, and inflammation, because pain is inflammation. So if it's reducing inflammation, which it does, it definitely reduces the pain. The second thing I notice is if people have had injuries, you know, knee and hip pretty specifically, also shoulder and back. So, you know, bones, ligaments, tendons, joints. And over time, I've been told, and, you know, people can go to the website and they can look and, you know, there's YouTube videos and there's all kinds of research that can be accessed. And they did 10 years of research, and the scientist and the inventor has between 70 and 100 patents. And he's really a pioneer in revolutionizing health and wellness in a very simple package, because we don't have much time. I'm tired of running around back and forth to, you know, acupuncture, chiropractor, you name it. Time, energy, money. We put on a patch in the morning and we take it off at night, and we put on another patch in the morning. And if that isn't instant gratification and simplicity and ease, nothing will. It doesn't exist.
I love that.
It's going to be true, but it is true.
And that, you know, thank you for saying that. It does sound a little bit like it's too good to be true. So what exactly is photon therapy? Is this like, you know, outer space kind of treatment that we should be leery of? Or is this our body just using its own resources to do what it does best, which is to heal?
Yes, and that's what it is, because, again, it's light therapy. It accesses our own infrared light. So it's not the sun's light, it's our own light, and it reflects it back to the organic crystals, which activates the copper peptides and our own stem cells. And what's fascinating is I'm a big-time researcher. I have been for 45 years, and I have research teams in health and wellness. And so I don't believe in just what anybody says. I had a compelling and miraculous benefit and response, but I still wanted to know some things at another level. So, you know, I always suggest that people have their miracle in their experience, but also they can look deeper, as I did. And I found out from one of the gurus in town who actually works with stem cell therapy and charges $12,000 to $20,000 a shot. He said something very, very compelling, and he said, by the time we're 90% of our stem cells are gone completely, absolutely gone, and there's very few things that can help regenerate stem cells, a half a dozen things. And he's not connected to Lifewave. The company's called Lifewave, and I call it Lightwave. So, however, he has his own research and information. By the time we're 40, 67% of our stem cells are gone. And depending on the quality of life, did we drink alcohol? Did we have a lot of stress? Did we do drugs? What addictions did we have? GMOs, it affects our stem cells. So not only do we have almost no stem cells left when we're 60, and I'm 64, feeling like I'm 24, the quality of the stem cells that are left could be very problematic. And that's why I believe we start really aging at around 60, quite honestly. So it was interesting. I listened to all his research about what he knows, and it was very complementary to the understanding from the research from Lifewaves.
So would you say then that Lifewave is similar or the same as the stem cell therapy that you would pay, gosh, what, hundreds of thousands of dollars for at this point? I don't know a whole lot about stem cell therapy, but I know that it probably of everything has gotten the greatest results for the most amount of decline in the human body. Is this similar to stem cell therapy?
You know, absolutely not. It's not even in the same universe, because stem cell therapy, from what I've read and understood, is that, you know, they either take your own stem cells or somebody else's and they inject it. So it's an actual injection, which there is a danger to that anyway. There's scar tissue. There's danger to that. They've discovered, and I've been researching this for about 10 years to see if I could have dental stem cell therapy, right? But they've discovered that they can create tumors and cancer. So there's a downside. This is strictly organic crystal on a patch that activates your own infrared light, that reflects it, activates your copper peptides and your stem cells. Nothing's added, no injections, and for, let's just say, $150 a month plus tax and shipping. Talk about having a value for your health and your life, right? What value do you have for your health and your life? What is it worth? Well,
okay, but now I got another question for you. What if your stem cells are really just not that great to begin with? What do you do? What are you replicating damaged cells?
No. Your body, because it has its own intelligence and body wisdom, what it does is the stem cells that are left, it helps to rejuvenate them. And then it creates new stem cells. I mean, it's revolutionary. It's pioneering. And people say, well, I don't believe it. I need to see the research. Well, do you research the Coke you drink or the coffee you drink? People want to, put bad things in their body and not look at any research. But when you bring something of light and, high level health and wellness, they want to see the research. I say, look at everything, but be willing to receive your good and to know the value of your health in your life. That's the bottom line.
Wow. Okay. And so are there conditions that it cannot help with? Something like, cancer. Can it help with cancer? Is it a cure for cancer?
No, they don't want to use the word cure, and they haven't done the studies on cancer, quite honestly. And they won't speak on anything they haven't done, double-blind studies on. I would say if your body knows and you're fighting cancer or any serious immune disorder, your body will your immune system will just be better, and it may support your immune system to support all that other, I don't want to even say that word, but it's not a cure for anything. Your body is repairing, self-rejuvenating, self-regenerating. Our cells repair every 7 seconds. There's a 7-year, renewal of our cells, like our organs, everything. So we're getting a support from our own body and our own stem cells at a whole nother level.
So rather than be a Band-Aid or be a foreign force that is coming in to take over, this is asking the body to heal itself, which is something that it is designed to do. Is that correct?
Yes. It's the divine design, I call it. There's a divine design. And what's fascinating about it as well, the simplicity of, I mean, it's huge complexity, right? But the simplicity of putting a patch on, and let's say 30 days, feeling more energy and vitality and better in every way. People are feeling less stress. They are feeling more peace. I've had women tell me they're not arguing as much. They feel peaceful. They don't have to react as much. Their overall well-being is good. And so I say, what's the value of that for ourselves, our family, our communities, and humanity? This is a bigger picture than just we're putting a patch on and we're feeling better. This has a big ripple effect, positive, loving ripple effect in the world. That's the biggest picture, and I'm living for that.
And I'm loving that because I really, in my work with Mother God, feel that this year that we're moving into begins we've done so much work, so much ascension, so many people have awakened to who they are and to the divine love that is always pouring forth. And I really feel that this year we will make so much more progress in sharing unconditional love. But as always, it begins with ourselves. So we want each person, anyone who feels called to this, and is suffering from pain or any kind of aging symptom, you might want to give this a try. As always, you listen to your heart. You can consult your doctor and any other professional that you feel called to and get their opinion. Do whatever research you feel you need to. But Gina is certainly living proof that miracles do exist. Now, I have to ask you, though, is there any age restriction? What if you had a young child in the home and the child had, let's say, constant ear infections or something like that that indicates some sort of immune imbalance? Would it be safe to put it on a child?
Their recommendation, and I want to follow that implicitly because the science is there, is 18 years old.
Okay. So if you have young children in the home, you do not want to use this patch unless the company changes their stance on it because they have done research that shows that it's safe. So for now.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Well, also, our stem cells are plentiful. They're abundant up until 18. They start to decline around 20. So it's about the power of your own stem cells and the abundance of them, which is most people should be in really good shape. But, simple things like earaches and that kind of stuff, I think, they just haven't done the science on it, and I think they want to be very careful and very cautious. They want to be able to help millions of people worldwide and make a difference in the world, in people's health and their well-being, and also bring more joy and vitality and healing into the world. So I'm just following the science, 18 years old, and that's my recommendation. Start at 18.
Okay. And I love that. Until we always want to be as safe as we possibly can be, not stupid. We don't take stupid risks and say, oh, God, save me. No, we do what we know or believe to be correct, and then we ask that we be shown the path as it unfolds. And Gina, I also want to ask you about that, and I forgot to ask you this earlier. Going back to your relationship with God, certainly one thing Mother God has always said to me is the physical body is so darn noisy. You need to get help for the physical body before you can really address the spiritual, if you haven't addressed the spiritual before the physical body got to the state that it's in, because it's just so noisy. So you said you were able to have this relationship with God where you said, I need help and I am open to receiving it even though I don't know how.
Yes.
And I think that is such an important statement. So, can you share a little bit more about that for everyone listening? What did that look like for you?
Well, I don't have all the answers. I mean, we're spiritual beings having human experience. I know people say that, but I do believe that. And so we always have access to the answers. But in our humanness, in 3D, the 3D, we're not as present or as mindful. And so on a very regular basis, I ask God, the angels, my guides, whatever you would like to, call it, an experience, to show me what I need for the next level of my life. And I've been doing this a long time, many decades. And I get still enough to listen. The body and the mind are very busy, and they don't want to be still. And I suggest to every person to find a way to get still in your body and your mind a little bit, not quieting your mind, but just stillness. Breathe and listen for your own inner voice, your own higher guidance. My father always used to say it's an inside job. So if we pay more attention, we're more mindful and more present and more still, we will know what is in our highest good. When we're in a state of crisis like I was, and chronic everything like I was, I couldn't hear the voice. I was in too much pain. So, yeah, stillness and be more prayerful, and ask, and you shall receive.
And one thing I want to point out that Gina just said is that when she was in so much pain, she couldn't hear the voice. Now, really get a hold of that. She was unable to hear the voice of God. However, she was not without help. So please understand the difference. There is always help forthcoming if you are willing to receive it. Even though you may not be able to hear it because of pain or whatever extenuating circumstance may be happening in your life, you will still receive help as long as you're open to receiving it. Let's really be clear that we have a role to play in our relationship with receiving help. We cannot say, nobody will ever help me. God doesn't hear me. It'll never get better. And expect that you're going to be open to receiving the help. Now, we remember Gina told us that a friend of hers, a very dear friend, found this product and brought it to her through another person. So it wasn't Gina hearing, you need to look into this product. It was a friend who got a hold of another person to bring the product to Gina. God is not limited in their ability to help you, to heal you, to guide you, and to lead you. We often get in the way because we get stuck in pity parties, or we get angry or resentful or bitter. Gina, can you speak to us about how you managed not to be resentful or bitter when so many things, so much decline happened in your life?
Well, I think, to be honest, I probably had many moments of being resentful, but I didn't stay there. I visited there, but I did not reside there. I didn't live there. And the reason I did not is because I was so grateful to be alive in this time in humanity, so grateful to have a mission and a purpose, and it was bigger than my own survival. And I was so grateful, and I would always say to God, God, if I had to go through this to help one person save their lives, I'll do it all over again. And so in that spirit, that's what had me rise above the alligators that showed up on occasion.
So what would you recommend? Let's say the alligators are nipping at your your bottom, and you feel like nobody's here for me. How do you pull yourself out of that place into the place where you manage to stay?
Again, more prayer and meditation, chanting, whatever that person's spiritual practice or religious practice is. I highly recommend going deeper in that. Also, opening your mind and your heart. Also, doing some of your own research and listening to healing YouTube, channel and sound frequency. I mean, I've done a multitude of things, probably hundreds of things in different directions. And I think you just want to decide how you value your health in your life. And from that place, everything gets answered. I think we have to tell God we want to be here, and we want to be healthy, well, and vital, and we want to serve ourselves and our family and humanity in some way. It could just be saying a prayer. But, that's...
Gina, that was brilliant, because let's look at this. So many times we may allow ourselves to fall in a state of disrepair because we feel that we are not worthy, we have nothing to offer, we need a rest, we're not appreciated. Let's commit right from this day forward and carry it on through the 20s at least. And hopefully by then it will be such a habit that we'll never renege on this, that we have decided as a community, as a body of people, that we want to be healthy, well, and vital, so that we can be of service to ourselves and all of the other people that we are here with on this planet. It's not necessary for anyone to suffer or to be ill or to be feeling badly in any way, but it is a choice. You have to choose that instead of looking at the hurt and the pain, you're going to look at the miracle of receiving help when you need it, or receiving that message when you need it, or just the miracle of the human body being able to be its own wellness machine. Yes, there are times when we just get brought down low by sickness, but for the most part, most of us spend the majority of our lives in really good health. So let's commit to being in a place of gratitude for all that we have, even if it's not exactly perfect. Be in that place of gratitude for all that we have now, and then be willing to partner with God and say, how can I bring my light and my love into other people's lives in a way that will feel great to me? But if you are hurting, if you are feeling unwell or losing your vitality, please investigate these patches. So, Gina, share with us how they can get more information about these patches or try them for themselves. And is there any kind of a money-back guarantee, or is this just like...
Yes. When they purchase directly from the company, there is a 30-day, I believe, there is a money-back guarantee, absolutely. So far, no one I know out of a couple hundred people have returned any, because they've all had amazing benefits, but that is there for people that would feel secure with that. That's there. And yes, if you don't receive a result, or if you didn't receive a result in 30 days and you want to give it another 30 days, I suggest that. There's been a few people, it's been over 30 days. And I would say just have intention and faith that you will receive a miracle in some way. I've had young people say they feel more clarity and more confidence and more energy, and they're young, they're in their 20s. I'm like, wow, well, I didn't have that experience exactly. I had the more energy and vitality, but not, more confidence and more clarity. So I would just say be open to your miracle. Be willing to try a package, minimum, and be open and willing to receive a miracle and a blessing in your life, and to receive it as that. I received it as a miracle and a blessing, and I offer it to everyone as a miracle and a blessing.
And I do have to share with everyone that Gina shared patches with me, and I too received it as a miracle and a blessing. I am not dealing with really much other than what would have been considered traditional aging, and that is turning itself around. So even if you consider yourself well, and I do, I would try this. I have experienced increased vitality and mental clarity. And certainly more energy, much more ability and the muscles, seeming to respond better, so that more physical strength. I've shared it with everyone in my family. And for us, I do want to say, we all got some benefit in the first week, but I have noticed, I think I'm on month 3 now. This is when I'm really starting to see major shifts beginning to occur in my body. The increased vitality was pretty quick, but then because I feel well most of the time, and I was just starting to have some aging-related things, it took me almost 3 months to really kind of rev up the engine and see some turnaround. So if I were you and I just wanted to feel better I'm 62 in a 62-year-old body, I would not return the product after 30 days. I would actually give it, I would say, up to 6 months, because you are trying to tell your body, hey, let's get busy again. Let's wake up renew all these stem cells that have died off. And so, yes, I did feel a relief. I was having some trouble with my sciatic nerve, and now I think this is 3 months. It might only be 2 months. Completely gone. Did not happen in the first month. Didn't happen even in the beginning of the second month. It took almost 2.5 months for that pain to really go. It went away in the first week. It was like a miracle. And then with renewed aggravation, it came back. And then it finally seems to have been healed now, either at the beginning of the third month or the end of the second. I can't remember what it was. But so if you have no chronic condition, if you just want to feel better, it might take a little longer, but it is 100% worth it. I wanted Gina to share her experience with you, because she was really dealing with a situation where her life was compromised by the way that she was feeling. And so her body got busy healing up those things that were so compromising, and she may have seen results more quickly because there was more of a dramatic difference for her. Yes. But Gina, where can people purchase the product, and what do you do from here?
So, Marcia, you have a website. People can go to your website. But if they have any questions, and I'd love to answer questions and further discuss with people who have interest and definitely who have a need in some way for their health and well-being, they can give me a call. And the other thing is, I didn't mention, but I lost a dress size in 2 months, and I haven't been able to lose weight because of all the endocrine issues from all the surgeries and, menopause and thyroid issues. So I lost a dress size in 2 months. I'm so elated. And at least 65% of my hair is less gray. I will not have gray, I'm sure, in the next 6 months. 60, wow. 70%. Yes. And my skin, because the stem cells are connected to collagen, help to regenerate collagen. But I understand that takes 6 months, but it's 3.5 months for me. And already my skin is more toned. It's amazing for skin. I don't know how I missed that, but everyone's face I've seen, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, they look years younger, and they can see it and feel it, and so can everybody else. And that is a miracle.
Well, that was one of the things that I was trying to say with the muscles. I was like, I actually way overdid lifting things that I should not be lifting, because I kind of felt like Superman there for a while. Then it evened out, and I was like, okay, probably that's too much weight given the size that I am for me to lift anyway. So expecting myself to lift and carry these things all around the world without hurting myself is silly. But gosh, that was one of the first benefits. Was I was like, wow, I've got unending energy. So one of the things that we did for today's show is, and I think I'm just going to keep that on there, under the tab on my website is marciamartinthehearthealer.com, and that's Marcia spelled Marcia. Under the tab Cellular Regeneration, there are many videos that you can see that explain the process a little differently from what Gina has shared with you. There's a PBS special on there, and there's just more information. And then you can click on the Learn More button, and that's where you can go and purchase the product. So we want you to have as much information as possible, and I wanted all of you to meet Gina and hear her amazing transformational story, because she has been such an inspiration for me. And Gina, when I met you, gosh, we've known each other for about 10 years now. You were really struggling, and health-wise. I don't mean with your faith, but you were always the inspiration to me, because you have an outstanding positive attitude, no matter how difficult it is, or was. I don't think it is now. It was for you just kind of to get up and get going with your day. You were still positive, grateful, loving, kind. So I want to thank you for being truly an incredible inspiration in my life and in the life of everyone who knows you.
Well, thank you, Marcia. Thank you. I'm here for loving service, so it's just what I'm here for, and I'm grateful, and I'll serve however I can, whoever is willing.
And I have to say, too, there were times when your skin looked almost gray, when you were so beaten down, especially by the infection in the jaw, that your skin had a really unhealthy pallor to it. And it's not that way anymore. You are rosy and glowing. So it delights me to see that happening for you. And I want that to happen for everyone who's listening. If you are struggling with any kind of issue, and it's often now in our society, we're hearing a lot of reports of people getting diabetes. Would this help with something like that?
Thank you for asking that. Yes, they're starting to do double-blind studies, but they already know from the studies that they've been doing that that's going to be very positive for diabetics. And I don't know if that's 1 and 2, but I know for sure it's 2. And as I said, they're doing studies, and they'll release them when they're complete. But my brother has diabetes and shoots insulin and takes a lot of meds, and his vitality, he's better. He sounds better. He feels better. He's doing more, which is good in terms of mobility. And he's had 2 heart attacks, one recently in the last year. And I don't think I've heard him this good in a long time. And so I'm just so grateful if I've been able to add years onto my brother's life, or at least quality of life. And that means everything to me. That means everything to me.
And speaking of quality of life, would this help with Alzheimer's or dementia?
Well, since stem cells, everything is, so much is based on telomeres and stem cells, I would say it will help with every condition over time, and we don't know how or when exactly, because everybody has their own stem cells and how they are responding to all the things that we've put them through in our lifetime. Like if we've had a lot of stress, boy, our stem cells, they can regenerate for sure. They're regenerating. And they can make new, this can help us make new stem cells. But we, wow, what was I going to say? We can help every condition. This can help every condition in the body, because this is about our body and our stem cells. That's the bottom line. But over time, everything is going to take time. We must have patience. Expect a miracle and a blessing, and when you receive it, just be grateful.
Amen to that. And I love the fact that this is what the spiritual journey is all about. Patience. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think I say that every single week. If you think that you can say a prayer, repeat an affirmation, and snap your fingers, and all those negative habits and all that bad negative thinking and limiting beliefs are going to disappear, then you're in for a really tough time. Be patient. Be proactive. Be persistent with your good spiritual practices, and stay in that beautiful place of expectation where you come from a place of certainty, where you are expecting the blessing instead of the pain or the hurt or the letdown. If you are expecting to be let down, you will receive that. You'll call it to yourself. So please begin practicing the expectation of a miracle. And Mother God tells us a miracle is not something that happens once in a great while. A miracle is just when you have aligned yourself with divine intention for you. When you've stopped being resistant. It's when you say, yes, I am open to receiving, and you actually stay in that place. That is where the miracle can find you, because unconditional love, which is the fabric of miracles, is pouring forth upon you constantly. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you may have done or said. That love pours forth upon everyone. What matters is whether you are open to receiving it. You're the one with free will. You're the one that can choose to receive. And now,
Marcia, on that note, if I may, I was hearing, know thyself, love thyself, heal thyself.
Yes, please be proactive.
Yes, we have to. And the other exciting piece about this, or facet of this, is that this is working in spite of people's belief systems, which I love.
Oh, so and thank you for saying that. We have a caller, but yes, let's address that. Even the naysayers, the negative Nellies, are getting results. I tell you, God's all over this one. So 856. Oh, hang on. There we go. Calling from 856. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
We're great. And what would you like us to call you, and what is your question for Gina?
Rose Maria. And
hi, Rose Maria.
Hi. I guess what your topic is, like the soulmate, how to prepare myself, and when's that coming in, and all that happy stuff. It's been a while, and I want it to happen like yesterday. Been ready.
Oh, we're talking about wellness today. So we're not talking about soulmates, but here's the thing to remember always is that you just need to work on loving you, getting yourself prepared, loving yourself so much that you're complete with or without another person, because you're perfect right now, and you just continue becoming even more beautiful and balanced as you move along in your spiritual journey. So I hear a little bit of discouragement in your voice, and I understand, and sometimes it can be so difficult to be in the physical reality and just feel like things are not going the way that you want them to. But I want you just to commit to seeing the blessing in every situation where you are right now. What can you find in this moment to be grateful for? Because that's the way that you begin attracting more blessings into your life. So just, pick one thing every little bit throughout the day. I can be grateful for the rain, if you love rain. I can be grateful for the sun. I can be grateful for food to eat, or any little simple thing that really is true will get your gratitude muscle kind of revved up, and then it will be easier and easier to feel good about you and your situation. And when you feel good, good things are automatically attracted to you. So, Gina, would you like to share something also with Rose Maria?
Well, what I'm sensing is wanting to be loved and wanting to be aligned with a true partner and a divine partner. And we're all wanting that, and we're all calling that in. And I would say have faith. And everything that Marcia said is the formula, really, and the recipe to bring your soulmate. Because we can bring many soulmates, but the ultimate divine partner soulmate is what all women want. I'm going to speak for women. And to have that, you have to be that. So you have to love yourself and cherish yourself and honor yourself and value yourself. I've done that journey. I know what that journey is. And it's a profound journey. And if you love yourself unconditionally and you cherish yourself and value yourself, you will call in the divine partner. That I know.
And Rose Maria, you are a beautiful being. You are absolutely a brilliant, beautiful being. You just have to practice speaking to yourself that way. I hear a little bit of self-condemnation. So get used to being in that space of, I'm a beautiful being. I love and accept myself. I really am delighted by all that I am. And also, it's good to remember to love some of the less lovable aspects of yourself. We all have things that we do that we think, oh my gosh, really? And you just, get a little lighthearted about it. Okay, I'm working on that, or I can still love myself, or I love this. I may not like this particular characteristic, but I still love me. Love yourself anyway. Love yourself through it all. And know we're all growing, we're all learning, we're all advancing. But you are perfect in this moment and in every moment. What you are is not complete, but that's what the life journey is about. It's our journey to completion with the divine. So you may not get there in this lifetime. Maybe none of us will. I don't know. But I know that we can be perfect and love ourselves in every moment, just as we are.
Appreciate it.
You are so welcome. All right, everyone. We are as usual, over time, we seem to do that quite regularly. Gina, I want to thank you so very much. And before we go, let's just share with everyone, there is another side to Gina that I didn't introduce you to on this show because I really wanted to concentrate on the wellness. But Gina is an absolute genius numerologist. She is unbelievably prophetic in her ability to look at the numbers and to help you understand more about who you are, why you're here, and what would be best for you to pursue. And with keeping that in mind, she and I are going to be teaming up. We work individually and together, but we're going to be presenting some New Year, New You kind of offerings. One of them will be a class early in the new year because we want you to understand first what this year means to you, what 2020 means to you in terms of the numerological combination. And then my part would be to help you with heart clearing. So Gina will identify for you what you need to work on, what the benefits of this year will be, and where you may find yourself struggling. And then I would help you clear either that area or clear any regret that you may have so that you don't carry it into this new year. So it will be understanding the space that you're occupying so that you are best prepared to operate within it from a numerological perspective, and then clearing your heart so that there is no resistance and nothing standing in your way so that you can take full advantage of this incredible new year that we're stepping into. So, Gina, anything you want to add to our New Year, New You program?
It's exciting. It's definitely exciting, and it will be good to know and be pointed in some directions that will really be empowering and supportive in your life on every level: relationships, career, finances, and just health and wellness. So we're happy to serve and support you, and we're here for that. And Marcia, you and I are a divine complement, and I'm so grateful and feel honored. Thank you for inviting me on your show, and thank you for being such a woman of loving service, a woman of wonder, as I say. And I'm so grateful to be in your life and to be your friend. And thank you for all your love and all your grace.
Aw, you're the best. See, this is what I am telling all of you. When your heart is filled with love, when you are able to go into the place where you can say, yeah, you know what, I got some things that I need to work on, but I love and accept myself where I am and as I am, you will attract into your life people that are magical. And so Gina is one of those magical people. She has an incredible way with these numbers that really will help you understand how you can get the most out of this year, this opportunity that's coming up. We don't want any of you to feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I had known better, or I wish I had the tools or the information that I needed. We want you to be prepared, to feel like you're in charge so that you can be proactive. No one can do it for you, but we can guide you and lead you, and we're delighted to do just that. So everyone, as I said before, we are over our time, and it is time for us to say goodbye, but until next week, I am sending you all my love. Oh, and my gosh, guys, I completely forgot one more thing. My Patreon community, the Healing Hearts community that's on Patreon that helps you dive deep into your spiritual journey, is absolutely free of charge for the entire month of January. So you want to go ahead and get into that Patreon community. Take advantage of all of the incredible resources that are there. I just published a new video that the angels shared with me about the grieving process. Get in there and take advantage of all of the material and the spiritual help that is available for you there at absolutely no cost for the entire month of January. Again, you can access that through my website, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com. It's Marcia spelled M-A-R-C-I-A. And on my website, you would click on the Community tab. So thank you all, everyone. And for real this time, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.